No, not my country. Nigeria is not my country. I am an Ijaw man. I have never chosen to renounce my citizens of the Ijaw nation.
Now, would it be right for people to say that you are an unpatriotic individual if you deny the country you belong to? Ijaw is a constituent of the Nigerian nation.
No. That's not true, my brother. Allow me to give you the historical antecedent. Nations are built by people, not by force. Me, I no want be Nigeria. Me, Dokuba Asare, I no want be Nigeria. I be Ijaw man. I be.
For the Nigerian people, why are we afraid of a referendum? Referendum simply means that the people buy into the document so that it does not just become plastic, it becomes animated.
About a people's constitution after a referendum. These are words that these people are afraid of. I don't know why they are afraid of referendum or people's constitution. It was done in Eritrea, in Bangladesh, in Iran, in Iraq, in Egypt, in Kenya, in South Africa, in Singapore, in Morocco. These people, even with a government in power, were able to start a new document called the People's Constitution, which was subjected to the people in a referendum.
Are you sure that we are not pretending to be in this country called Nigeria? For me, I think we all are pretending, because I've been studying so many things in these past 3 months. I've been studying about the history of Nigeria and the people's will. I'm beginning to see that the reason why Nigeria is not working is not because of leadership failure alone. Even though somebody who is a saint becomes president today, you will be surprised that things will not work again. Why am I saying this? When you look at after our independence till today, you will understand that there have been series of people who are clamoring for separate leadership, separate independence, and so on and so forth. Now, I know a lot of people would say, if they still have independence, if Yoruba people still have their country, is it not the same people that will rule them? Absolutely no. The reason why I say no is because, just imagine if Nigeria now is only a Yoruba country. There are some things that a culture or a tribe or a group of people who have a common values will do to progress the nation, but it will not suit other people who don't have the same value. Let me give you an example. In northern Nigeria, the supremacy of Sharia law is very common. People respect Sharia law. People respect, what do they call them? This Sharia police. So if these people now see you are selling like beer, they can destroy it, and Nigerian police will not come and arrest them because they respect it. So we have different values, and I have seen people who have been clamoring Sunday Igboho, them OPC, Biafra, Owazurike, then the Biafra movement, then by Owazurike, later IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, and this thing will continue. The only thing to stop this is understanding that our values are different. To manage diversity is not an easy thing. So government should not see people who clamor for referendum as crime. A referendum is a civil something. So it's not a crime for someone to clamor for referendum. And when you look at things from 1960, things are getting worse. When you look at even 1960 is too far. Look at from 2011 when Yar'Adua gave power to Jonathan, from Jonathan to Buhari, from Buhari to Tinubu. Do you think that all these presidents are all evil? Absolutely not. These people are not evil, but they met a system that they cannot manage. They met a system that cannot work. They met a system that needs a referendum. They met a constitution that will not work. This present constitution is not the constitution of the people. This present system of government we are seeing in Nigeria, it won't work. If you like, let angels come down from heaven and become the president of Nigeria. Things will not work well, because there is no value that is unitary. For a nation to progress, we need just an idea that is unison, not a heterogeneous idea. I've never seen a country who have heterogeneous culture on earth today. It does not work. Even America doesn't have a unitary system of government. The powers in America is heterogeneous. Every state has their own Supreme Court. Every state has their own police. Even counties like where a councillor needs, they have their own police. So the system of governance has to change.
To be subjected to a referendum of the Nigerian people, why are we afraid of a referendum? Referendum simply means that the people buy into the document so that it does not just become plastic. It becomes animated. It carries the will of the people. It carries their imprimatur. It becomes legitimate. It becomes respected. It becomes autochthonous. It enjoys the will, respectability, and legitimacy of the people, as the American people did. In about 1788, in Philadelphia, when they met, the Republic of Nigeria at the age of 24, and he was Nigeria's permanent representative at the United Nations before he was 26. Dr. Jack Yakubu Gowon became head of state of Nigeria at the age of 32. And guess what? He was a bachelor. People like King Alfred Dietespi, they became governors. Many of them, Dr. Sam Ogbemudia, at the age of between 28 and 30. Today, you have Nigerians who are between 30 and 35 still struggling to pass through the university to get their first degree, because a course that ought to have been for 4 years is elongated through strikes and other catastrophes to become a course of 7 years, 8 years, and 9 years. Now, the children that ought to be protected are rendered most vulnerable. In Nigeria, they go to school. In their schools, they are captured by Boko Haram, by kidnappers, by armed bandits, and their parents are made to pay ransom. In fact, in the one that happened in Kaduna, that one took on an higher altitude when the kidnappers now demanded from the parents of the kidnapped children to buy and bring for them bags of rice, beans, gari, palm oil, vegetable oil, sugar, salt, Maggi cubes. They even dictated how many of these should be brought, or else they will kill their children. That was to keep the children alive for the purpose of ransom being paid for them. So we have a situation where we are all vulnerable, not just our children. In schools, we are vulnerable. In our markets, we are vulnerable. In our offices, we are vulnerable. On the streets, we are vulnerable. In our farms, we are vulnerable. In the air, we are vulnerable. On the waters, we are vulnerable. Everywhere, there is problem. Nigeria has never had it so bad. And a country like that, without peace and tranquility, without security and welfare, which are the two primary purposes of government, can never progress. It will just suffer the fate of the barber's chair of perpetual motion on its axis without any progress. And that is why today's symposium, today's workshop on Nigerian children and insecurity is very apt, very apposite, and very timeless, because it presents us an opportunity to x-ray the clear and present danger of the multifarious problems that currently beset the Nigerian child, who, when he is not able to go to school, is also made a child laborer, selling gala and pure water on our streets, or married out as a girl wife to rich people between the ages of 12 and 16. That is not how to grow or develop a country. Nigeria must begin to go back to brass tacks. We need a new constitution for the people, a constitution to be subjected to a referendum for the Nigerian people. Why are we afraid of a referendum? Referendum simply means that the people buy in into the document so that it does not just become plastic, it becomes animated. It carries the will of the people. It carries their imprimatur. It becomes legitimate. It becomes respected. It becomes autochthonous. It enjoys the will, respectability, and legitimacy of the people, as the American people did.
Jungle.